Okay, guys, we're gonna get started with Midnight Momentum. This is with Puzzle Me Academy. And I want to let you guys know that this is gonna be happening Monday through Saturday at 9:30 p.m. EST. So what's happening today? We're gonna go over the basics of reinforcement, punishment, and extinction. So let's not ever forget this. I put these little arrows because I feel like it'll help you guys understand and remember what reinforcement is. So just think of an arrow going up and remember that it increases the probability of the behavior occurring in the future. And then we have punishment, that it's the exact opposite, where we have an arrow going down and it decreases the probability of the behavior occurring in the future. There are two different procedures and they're not to be confused. So reinforcement. This is when a behavior becomes more frequent in the future if previously followed by a reinforcer or an increase in reinforcer within 0 to 30 seconds. So that's how fast we should be giving this reinforcement. It is a consequence. It's not an antecedent event. So it has to be given within 0 to 30 seconds. If not, it wouldn't be considered reinforcement. It would probably be considered something else, which we'll probably get into throughout the following days. So people are not reinforced, behavior is reinforced. This is really good for when we're looking at scenario questions. Bribery is not the same as reinforcement because the behavior might increase at that moment, but if the bribery is not always available, then the behavior is not going to be increasing and it wouldn't be considered reinforcement. So instead, think that bribery is an antecedent event. You're adding something into the environment that can possibly cause the behavior to increase, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the bribery itself is the reinforcement procedure. And then reinforcement is indeed a consequence. Now we have punishment, and with punishment, we are decreasing the behavior, not maintaining the behavior. So threats are not the same as punishment. Just like the bribery scenario from reinforcement, think of it the same with threats. Threats might decrease the behavior in the present moment, but punishment procedures are not something as simple as a threat. When we say, oh, if you don't do this, I'm going to take away your iPad for 5 minutes, or I'm not going to give you your chocolate that you like to have if you don't do this for me. That would be considered some sort of threat, and maybe the behavior might decrease in that moment, but that doesn't mean that we're implementing a punishment procedure. It's a little bit more detailed than that. Think of it as punishment procedures decrease behaviors from occurring again in the future. So now we're going to go into extinction and its key points. So when you think of extinction, I like to think of an X, because this is the removal of a previously reinforced behavior. So whatever was reinforcing that behavior, we're just going to go ahead and completely remove that. No more reinforcement is given. This is not the same as punishment. Punishment is something that we're doing to decrease the behavior, and extinction, we are removing the behavior. We don't want it anymore. But when we implement extinction, we have to prepare for something called extinction burst. This is a temporary increase of behavior. Think when you have spent X amount of time doing something and suddenly you no longer have access to it. What are you going to do? You're going to freak out and you're going to want it even more, or you're going to just go a little bit crazy trying to figure out how you can get whatever was randomly taken away from you back. And once we have successfully implemented extinction and we already went through the extinction burst phase, which again is very temporary, we also have to look out for spontaneous recovery. This doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's when the behavior comes back after successfully implementing extinction. So if reinforcement is given when behavior comes back, sorry, I messed up there. I meant to put these little things coming this way. Then the entire extinction procedure will have to be implemented again. What does that mean? If you implemented extinction on a behavior and everything went smoothly, behavior stopped happening, and all of a sudden 3 months later the behavior starts to happen again. Let's say you used to smoke cigarettes and then you stopped smoking cigarettes, but 3 months later something happened and boom, you start smoking cigarettes again. The second that you pick up another cigarette after not smoking for 3 months, it's more likely that you have to undergo the exact same procedure, the exact same extinction procedure. Just as hard as it was for it to be taken away initially when we were all the way over here, it's going to be just as hard to do it again when we have spontaneous recovery. I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, doubts, if I'm saying anything wrong or you don't agree with something, please let me know. That's the purpose of this. And then this is just so you guys can have our socials, which most of you already have our socials on here. That is all for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over contingencies of reinforcement. Do you guys prefer something else, more interactive? Do you guys think that PowerPoints is effective for you guys? Let me know. What other examples of which topic? Based scenario. Oh, like you're saying, for extinction. Okay. Where do you think you're confused? Oh, we have someone else coming in. Where do you think you're confused in? Guys, I'm not recording. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna